I know one of the recommendations that came out, and was at the Board of Finance meeting by one of the by your father actually, and I know Mr. Parenti was made the same recommendation last night as the elimination of the academy, and I know Marilyn has gotten a lot of phone calls about that. And I wouldn't be surprised if you did too, about that. And what do you think about eliminating the academy? Is that going to happen?
I have not received a lot of phone calls, and I think that recommendation comes out each and every year when I go to the Board of Finance. It's not something new that my dad has requested, his stand on it, and I've heard him say this at the Board of Finance several years now. And he knows that there's certain members on the Board of Finance whose children attend the academy. But I think what he's trying to make a point is when you start cutting into education that deeply, that's the seriousness of cutting in that deeply, is that we can lose valuable programs. We could lose something that would be valuable to the community and to the Board of Education. And you can't not look at it. I'm not saying I'm for it by any means, but you can't not look at it when you're getting hit with a $2 million loss, and when you calculate out what it costs to run the academy, it came out to 1.6. And then there's an array of list of capital improvements that need to be done to that building also. So it's very costly to run the academy. But we've always been able to do it, and we've always been able to maintain the high quality of education, not only at the academy, but in all our schools. And I think it would be detrimental no matter what school was mentioned to be closed. If we said we were going to close our early learning centers, I think we'd have a problem. If we talked about closing one of our neighborhood elementary schools, I don't think those parents would be very pleased. So all high interest groups, sports, activities, band, things that happen in a severe budget crunch that any administrator or any superintendent would have to look at before you dig into the classroom is you're going to look at the frills that are in the budget that we enjoy, the parents enjoy, the students live for. The kids love the academy, the parents love the academy. Our kids in the middle school and the high school love their activities, including sports, drama, band. Those are things that I've been trying to build. I think they're valuable to the students in East Haven. I think the more exposure they get to the arts, the finer they will perform in the classroom. And I would hate to have to dig into any of those programs. This evening there's a town-wide or district-wide band concert from elementary, middle, academy, and the high school. And there's close to 400, 500 students that will be performing this evening. That's in a couple of hours. I'll be going to that. So we've put a lot of time and effort. I've supported the high school band more so than it's ever been supported since I've been up at central office. And we're back as national champions again. So programs cost money, there's no doubt about it. And to support them properly and protect our students on field trips and competitions and give them the proper supervision, unfortunately, costs money.
I know one of the suggestions that came up, I know Mr. Donuzzo made it at the board meeting the other night, was to possibly raise taxes $500,000. What do you think about that?
Well, I made the statement myself, and I was not received very well. I'm not a politician. I don't run for office. I do get elected by the Board of Education to be the superintendent of schools. It's unfortunate that the mayor has to run every 2 years. They have to campaign. They have to give promises to what they feel they can do best for the citizens of the town. And if you put yourself out on a limb and you say, I'm not going to raise taxes, not even being an incumbent, but coming in as a new mayor. I feel for the mayor right now because when she came in, she realized the economic status of the town. The economy hasn't gotten any better for her. It doesn't look any better in the future, but she has promises that she has to fulfill. But on the other hand, so do I as the superintendent of schools. I have dedicated my life to education, serving this community for 34 years. And I am really vested, right to the day that I leave, to fight for the teachers, the students, the parents of this town, and provide them the utmost and quality education that we have. I mentioned the other day that the demographics of this town has changed drastically over the past few years. We have high needs students. We have students that do not speak English. That population has grown to 200 or over 200 in East Haven right now. I've had to hire ELL teachers. That's an English language learner teacher. I need to hire more. They're in the budget. And those are some of the things that got scratched out of the $2 million. And whether they're scratched out, you know, by the town hall or not, I have to provide that service. And I have to provide students with disabilities with paraprofessionals and aides, and that was scratched out. I have to provide instructional leaders at the high school as per recommendation of the NEASC report, who accredits our high school. This year I am sending a team of teachers and administrators to the startup meeting for NEASC. We will be evaluated in 2011. We have to start our self-evaluation next year. And that was one of the 102 recommendations was to put curriculum and instructional leaders for building curriculum and improving instruction and assessment, which we have done. And right now we have our accreditation. NEASC has looked upon us approvingly, and if we were to take any of those things away or make any drastic changes to the NEASC recommendations, there's a form that we need to fill out and send to NEASC, informing them that we've eliminated staffing or we've eliminated administrators at the high school. And we may be cited on that.
Yeah, well, that's very enlightening, and I'd really like to thank you for coming in tonight. We need to wrap up now, but and thank you, and we'll be following the budget process as it goes over the next month and a half.
Thank you very much for having me.